And 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
still, ladies and gentlemen, the Undisputed African Fighting Podcast Champion of the World. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. This is your UFC 321 preview show. It's taking place this Saturday, 25th of October at 8 p.m. South African time. Rejoice, my fellow South Africans, and rejoice for today. I have with me the reigning defending Undisputed Vegan Champion of the World, Chief Analyst, of course, Brother Gaia.
Let's go. We will rejoice.
What's up, BG?
No. All good. Just super hyped that we have a very good fight card at a very good time for us South African people, and like obviously the UK and so on. But that everyone that's on the Greenwich timeline that's in the middle, we all got good time zones there. So let's go.
Let's go indeed, bro. And speaking of the UK, we have the pride of the UK. It's mighty Tommy Aspinall defending his undisputed heavyweight championship for the first time against Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is 35 years old, number one ranked heavyweight, 13-2-0-6 by KO, 3 by sub, 3 first-round finishes on a 2-fight win streak. Last time out, he beat Alexander Volkov by split decision in what was debatable, to put it mildly. The champion is, of course, 32 years old, officially now undisputed, number 9 pound for pound record in one champion. In UFC is 15, you know? 12 wins by KO, 3 by sub, 14 first round finishes. Last time out, he beat Curtis Blades by first round KO. I believe Tommy Aspinall also having the shortest average fight time in the UFC at the moment, bro. So BG, is this one a foregone conclusion here? I'm gonna get some numbers in a bit, but I mean the narrative coming into it is very much that Tom Aspinall's gonna smoke him. There's no word for takedown defense in French, apparently, is what I'm told. So, yeah, let us know your thoughts here, BG. Is it going to be as cut and dry as everyone else is making it out to be?
It's very difficult to disagree with it. I'm really trying hard to find a reason to counter that argument, AD. I really am trying to. I know Jed, I wish he was on the show because he really thinks Ciryl Gane's going to win this fight. He's actually the one guy out of everybody that I've seen online and in real life talk about this fight. Jed's the only person I've heard so far that actually says Ciryl Gane's going to win this fight. And the reason being as to why he says that is because he said Ciryl Gane has got the best footwork, the best stand-up footwork. He may not have the most devastating power if you compare him to Tom Aspinall, but before losing to John Jones and Francis Ngannou, people were saying that Ciryl Gane is the best heavyweight that they've ever seen in terms of this movement, this kickboxing movement, this footwork. It's so elusive, it's so amazing, and no one else moves like him. He moves like a welterweight, is what the word people were using when they described him. And Jed claims to say that Ciryl Gane will have the advantages there when they stay on the feet. Because Tom will stay on the feet with him, according to Jedi. Will box with him, and I think as long as they're going to keep standing, Jed says that Ciryl Gane's going to win the fight. Just outpointing him and having the footwork to get away from a lot of the devastating shots, and basically stay on the outside. Now, that being said, I don't agree with Jedi there. I honestly don't. It's just very difficult to see that happening, purely because, and this is my argument here. This is why I don't agree with Jedi. Tom Aspinall also moves like a fucking welterweight. Let's be real. He's also a heavyweight that moves very light on his feet. Extremely fast blitzes, heavy boxing. But here's the most devastating part about Tom Aspinall. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's got heavy wrestling. So he's actually a grappler by trade. Before he started knocking people out the way he has, the man loves to grapple. That's his forte, actually. So I think he's a more well-rounded athlete than Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane doesn't want to wrestle. Okay, he can have some sort of takedown defense. He's been working on it as well. I saw I'm sure everyone's watching the embedded episodes, and we see Ciryl Gane getting that Olympic wrestler to wrestle with him. I just don't know if that's going to be enough It's a long-standing thing when it comes to combat sports, where athletes go and get a training partner to mimic their opponent. But has anyone really successfully got someone that's identical to their opponent to spar with them? No. You'll get a top wrestler, but it's not Tom Aspinall. Can that Olympic wrestler that he got from Iran, can he box like Tom Aspinall? Can he ground and pound like Tom Aspinall? Can he put him in submissions like Tom Aspinall? You know what I'm saying? Can that wrestler, can he MMA grapple? That's the big thing here, because at the end of the day, all these fighters that have specialists in different disciplines, when they come into MMA, all of it gets thrown out the window. It's a different ball game. You know what I mean? So I think when I look at the two of them stylistically and I match them up, I'm not impressed with Ciryl Gane. No, I'm not. Just because after losing to John Jones, the dude gone for a while. He's gone for a while, like a year and a half, right? And he comes back and he TKOs Sergey Spivak within 2 rounds. Okay, cool. Well, good job. At the time, Spivak wasn't even in the top 5 yet. He was still making his way up. Devastating fighter, right? It's heavyweight, but nothing. He's not a Marcin Tybura. Excuse me. He's not like a, he's not Curtis Blades. He's not up there. He's not like Pavlovich or Volkov, but he can get there at some point. He's still very young, right? Then Ciryl Gane gets Alexander Volkov, right? Now we finally get him to fight against someone that's of his caliber, someone that's in the same category as him in terms of kickboxing prowess, someone that's also in the top 5 of the heavyweight division. He puts on a fucking stinker. You said it earlier, debatable loss to be, what did you say? Not to be fair, you said to be kind or something. There's a word that you use there.
Yeah.
And realistically, I don't want to be kind about it, because I had high expectations for Ciryl Gane. And to see him do that, for me, bothered me, because he wasn't out injured. He just took time off. And then you come back and your performance is like that. You lost that fucking fight. Everybody knew you. Dana White even said you lost the fight. You know what I mean? But the score was the score. I just did what they did, and you've got the victory on your hand. But I think even Ciryl Gane knew that he lost that fight. And the performance that he put on in that fight, for me, it was so underwhelming. Again, MMA math is difficult to sort of understand. But Tom Aspinall walked through Volkov with a blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying? And Ciryl Gane couldn't actually back up Volkov. He had to resort to some kind of takedowns in that fight, which wasn't even enough. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, stylistically, Ciryl Gane's best ways to win this fight is to kickbox, which obviously then gives Tom Aspinall a lot of chance to, knock him out with his boxing. But then what happens if Tom Aspinall decides to say, as soon as we're touching gloves, he pulls a Khamzat Chimaev and takes him down without even throwing a punch? You know what I mean? Because he could do that. He could go to grapple heavily for the first 2 rounds, bag 2 rounds easily, and then what's going to happen to Ciryl Gane? He got no gas tank left. You know what I mean? Remember the fight when he fought against Francis Ngannou? How boring it looked. He couldn't even get off the ground from a guy who only learned wrestling on that day. You know what I mean? And Ciryl Gane, I saw the training.
And there's 2 blown out knees also.
And he had blown out knees, bruh. He couldn't even get him off on top of him. And Ciryl Gane, I watched the tapes of this month's training camps with this wrestler. They're not coaching him to be offensive with the wrestling. They're coaching him to stay away from wrestling. And I don't like that in terms of training in a fight. Actually, in any sport, I'm sure you can agree with me, AD. It depends on the context, right? Like in football, it's a little bit different. But the more you train to defend, right? You're always gonna play defense, right? You're always gonna play defense. Just imagine what it would look like if Drukkas had to be heavy offensive grappling with Khamzat. It would have been a Mateusz Kamrat versus Roman Sarukin kind of fight. It would have been a Aspinall kind of situation, and that could have favored either one of them. You know what I mean? But it would have made the fight a bit more competitive. Ciryl Gane, same thing. It's like you training so much to defend takedowns and get away from it, rather than, what if I put you on your back, bruh? What if I shoot a double leg on you, or I fake it and I like, let's see some of that happening, and that can make him even more of a dangerous fighter. But because he's training not to be taken down, that's training to lose, in my opinion. You're training to lose the fight here. You're training so hard not to lose that you will lose. What was that book that came out that made people go in mouth for many years ago? The Secret. One of the things we read in that book was like, when you try so hard not to do this thing, you are going to do it because you're trying so hard for that sort of that topic of discussion, even if it makes sense, right? But if you're focusing on just like enjoyment of the sport, of just being a healthy athlete and performing the best that you can, you're probably gonna reach the heights probably gonna get there. You know what I mean? But I think Ciryl Gane's the kind of guy that just plays it way too safe, in my opinion. And Tom Aspinall's a nightmare matchup for him because of the well-roundedness. Now, I know for a fact, okay, the statistics are it's a short fight time with Tom Aspinall. We don't get to see enough of him going into 5 rounds, or if he gets tested, and what happens if he's on his back, if he gets cracked with an elbow, what happens to Tom Aspinall then? We need to see these things, right? Ciryl Gane has to put him in those moments. He has to for us to see it. But if he's unable to, if he can't, it's going to be a whitewash, unfortunately, for him. So I'm going to go Tom Aspinall. I'm not going to say first round KO, but I think Tom Aspinall's going to beat him. And it can go anywhere. Because also Tom Aspinall doesn't have to worry about being taken down. Doesn't worry about being put into a kimura or a guillotine or double legged or single legged. Ciryl Gane's not going to do that. He's going to tip, body kick, low kick, tip, 1-2, body kick, low kick, tip. He's going to recycle that the whole time. You know what I mean? And it just takes one shot in heavyweight to make someone get a fight. I think Tom Aspinall is at that point in his career where he wants to prove why you shouldn't think about John Jones anymore. You think about Tom Aspinall being the GOAT of the heavyweight division.
Yeah, we gonna find out Saturday night for sure, bro. But yeah, I'm just trying to see. Last fight was 28th of July, 2024. Before we go to the numbers, BG, do you think there's a better chance of Tom Aspinall winning by submission than Ciryl Gane winning by decision? What do you think?
Better chance for Ciryl Gane, for Tom Aspinall to win by submission versus Ciryl Gane winning by decision.
Decision, yeah. What's a more likely outcome there?
I think a more likely outcome between those two options would be Ciryl Gane on decision.
I mean, the reason I'm asking that, is because if you go to the numbers here, Tom Aspinall by sub is 4.5, Ciryl Gane by decision is 10.5, bro.
Yo, they
Insane,
touty,
right?
man.
Insane. On the money line, but also very wide, bro. 4.15, over 4 times your money for Ciryl Gane.
Me.
So Jedi, if you're all watching, bro, might be time to make that bet, bro.
I think Ciryl Gane's best opportunities to win the fight is stoppage, by TKO or KO stoppage, or decision. He's not going to be able to submit him. And Tom Aspinall submitting Ciryl Gane is not that likely. It's heavyweights, bro. These guys don't really go. If it was Chilton and Mader versus Ciryl Gane, I would have been like, okay, yeah, I get it. You know, but Tom don't go for subs. Because like it's heavyweight.
I feel like we might see it, bro, if he gets him to the ground. Because Tom is, like you said, he started as a grappler. He's BJJ black belt. If Ngannou could control Ciryl like that with 2 blown out knees, literally just learned wrestling that morning. So, you know, if he does get him to the ground, I don't like Cyryl's chances. Look how quickly John Jones tapped him out, bro. You know what I mean?
John didn't even sink it in properly. It wasn't even 100% stuff, and he tapped out before the time. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, AD. I think the way I see Tom Aspinall submitting Ciryl Gane is if he rocks him pretty badly. But I mean, these guys are heavyweights, man. It's such a dangerous weight to be in, man. You know what I mean? Like, jab can fuck you up.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be more like a situation if Gane is working him on the outside, maybe up 2 rounds. Tom decides, nah, I'm had enough for this now. I'm going to take you down and tap you out.
Which can happen.
Yeah, because I feel like if Tom catches him on the feet, he's just going to ground and pound him out, bro. It's not going
and punish him.
Chokes. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. That's why that motivated my decision. My answer was for that exact reason. I think Tom cracks him and then just ground and pounds and finishes the fight. I don't think he looks for a sub like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts. Yeah, BG.
The last thing I'll say also is this. Just last week, RDR proved why you don't get so cocky about it. You know, everyone knows Ciryl Gane hates grappling. I'm sure Tom knows this, but Tom also needs to be aware of, I'm sure he knows this as well, that you don't want to spend now so much energy trying to get this one down in the first or second round. Look for that sub because you think he's so weak, but then it turns out that he can be safe enough to keep his hips away or stifle some of the positions, and you burn out energy, and then you come to the round 3, round 4, you can't fight anymore. Your arms are blown out. You know what I mean? And that's what happened to RDR. And that's like one of a lot of examples that could potentially happen if you grappling heavy and it doesn't actually go there. You know what I mean? You don't. My point is, you don't want to underestimate it and say, "Oh, look how easy Tom John Jones tapped him out." You just take him down and tap him out. Yeah, but what happens if you don't get that right? You know what I mean? What's the next plan? What's the next plan? Yeah, if you don't actually get him down and don't tap him out. If you get him down but you can't tap him out, what you gonna do then? I think my point is I don't think he's gonna go for that sub. I think he's gonna just look to finish the fight with the hands, whether it's ground and pound or stand up. He's looking to finish the fight that way.
Yeah, agreed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments there, ladies and gentlemen. Does Ciryl Gane have a chance Jedi Knight? Get your comment in there, bro. Let us know why you're saying what you're saying. The women's strawweight title is also on the line, vacant, by the way, vacated by Weili. And she's going to be fighting Valentina Shevchenko quite shortly. But anyway, on to business here. The strawweight title on the line, we have Mackenzie Dern, who is 32 years old, number 5 ranked strawweight, 15-5-0, 8 by sub, 6 first-round finishes, 2 fight streak, beat Amanda Ribas by 3rd round sub in the last fight. Coming up against Virna Jandiroba. She's 37 years old, number 1 ranked strawweight, number 9 pound for pound, 22-3-0, 1 by KO, 14 by sub, 8 first-round finishes, 5 fight streak last time out, beating Yan Shionan by unanimous decision. So, I mean, this is a very interesting one, BG. Both of these women extremely qualified in the grappling and jiu-jitsu department here, as we can tell by their records. What are your thoughts on how this one's going to play out, bro?
Well, happy for Virna Jandiroba. I think she deserves the matchup. I think she deserves to fight for the title. She's rightfully so number 1. She's gone on a massive streak at the moment, and also took out the top 5 contenders. So I think she's worthy of it. Mackenzie Dern, I was a bit shocked that she got the matchup. I felt like maybe there was someone else they could have given it to first, because she's only on a 2-fight win streak, and one of that 2 fights was against Amanda Ribas, who's, let's be honest,
it's that Dana White privilege, bro. It's all about she of the women fighters now. She draws the biggest audience, apart from Weili and Valentina, who are on their way out, kind of thing. But I think she's like the one they're banking on, and not because she's the best fighter per se, but just because, for whatever reason, she tends to attract a lot of eyeballs, and I'm sure there's a lot of men who can tell me exactly what I'm talking about here. But you can let me know in the comments. Yeah, honestly, because all I see is the swimsuit pics, bro. When I search for kids, it's all swimsuit pics. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. No. But yeah, sorry, BG. Back to you.
I don't think you're wrong, Eddie. I think what you're describing is an aspect of it. I get what you're saying. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna agree or disagree, but I do think that is something that you can't ignore. It's the truth. It's a reality, because one would argue Tatiana Suarez just beat Amanda Lemos, and she could have gotten. She's number 2. She just lost to Weili. You know what I mean? She would, for me, makes more sense to fight against Takara, and then we could have done Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Shannan. She's number 3. You know, let's progressively get there, because Mackenzie Dern's not that old, bro. She's still pretty much young. She can still fight for quite some time. I'm looking at the rankings, and I thought Natalia Silva was in this division, but she's not. She's another fighter that's worthy of a title fight at any point right now. But coming back to this one, holding up all year, you know, on the channel how many times I've been singing about Jandiroba, how I've been bragging about this woman, and you're like, nah, this is a beast. This is a fighter to watch. I will say this now, and this might be a Nani moment again, but this might be a nightmare matchup for Jandiroba. Yeah, just because Jandiroba's strengths or Mackenzie Dern's strengths. And Mackenzie Dern has also won the exact same tournaments that Jandiroba has won in her career. When it comes to BJJ, also a world champion multiple times. You would go and say Mackenzie actually has more world titles when it comes to BJJ, right? Striking, and this is why I say it's a matchup. It's a nightmare matchup. Jandiroba's striking is not the most fluid. Like if you watch her boxing and the strikes, I mean, the woman fights with knee pads. You get what I'm saying? She's basically telling you, I'm gonna wrestle you. I'm not gonna box with you. You know what I mean? Because she's not that comfortable there. She's not the most fluid when it comes to her striking. She can throw a punch. All fighters can throw a punch, right? But watch her fight. Her punching doesn't come with a lot of perfect light technique like a boxing. Just turn the hips in there. You know what I mean? There's triple jab and then shoot for a take. None of that stuff, right? She just goes in there, puts her hands out, puts out feelers, and then double legs you, and then you're down on the ground. Now you're in her world, right? And I think Mackenzie Dern's gonna actually invite that, to be quite honest with you, because I think both of them are very confident that they can tap each other out. What was that sound? Mic check, mic check.
You fine, bro?
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing I'm thinking about. And then when it comes to the striking department, as much as it tinges me to say it, Mackenzie has leveled up her boxing, bro. She has shown us over the last 2 fights that she's leveled up her striking. She can throw out some kicks. She's durable as fuck. She's taken a lot of damage and still stands in there and takes people down. She's like made of elastic. You know what I mean? She just takes punches and goes forward. So dude, what is it? They fight already.
Yeah, UFC 256.
And Jandiroba beat her, right?
Mackenzie won by unanimous decision.
There we go. You see. I don't know why I can't even why that wasn't there, but putting the picture up, maybe now it flashes and go, oh yeah, they did fight, and she won. And she won that fight because Takara wasn't able to assert the dominance of her grappling, because she's going up against someone that's equally as good as she is when it comes to grappling. And that's why I think it's a nightmare matchup, and that's why I'm going to go with Mackenzie Dern in this fight. I'm going to go against the fighter that I think that I like more. Like, I'm a big fan of Jandiroba, but I'm going to put my bias aside here and go with what I'm thinking here. And my logic brain is telling me that this is a difficult fight for Jandiroba because she can't strike as well as Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern is the better striker. She could bag a lot of points by keeping it on the feet. And when they go to the ground, Mackenzie has stifled Kakara there before. She stifled that. And I know it's a 5-round fight, and if it's a 5-round fight, I'm going to favor Mackenzie Dern as well. She's younger. She's got a better gas tank. Kakara has showed me that she gets tired in the later rounds. Granted, she's on a massive 5-fight win streak at the moment. I just think if you break them both down, pound for pound, weapons for weapons, tactics for tactics, it does favor Mackenzie. And she is one up. You know what I mean? So I'm surprised they didn't even advertise this fight as number 2 on the posters. But okay. In a nutshell, I think Mackenzie Dern wins this fight on decision or 4th round submission. Kakara gets tired at round 4, round 5. Mackenzie catches her in the later rounds.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you are going to place a bet in round 4, Mackenzie Dern is at 17-1. She's also starting as the betting favorite here at 1.57. Virna Jandiroba at 2.45. So BG, talking no lies there. Maybe you can give us a bit of a parlay at the end of the show, BG.
Sure.
But anyway, do you have any final thoughts on this one, broski?
Nah, just hyped, though. Just hyped. I think it's a very good matchup. I would have loved to have seen Tatiana Suarez and what's her name, Jandiroba, but I think, yeah, they both are worthy of it at the end of the day. You know, Jandiroba, no argument there. Mackenzie Dern, I think she was on a 2-fight win streak, and because the other 2 fighters that were also in top 5 were locked up or had fought already, so that's natural progression. So well done. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a just fight.
Fair play. And to the bantamweight division, we shall go where we see the return of Umar Nurmagomedov, who is now 18-1 after his loss to champion Merab Dvalishvili. He's got 2 by KO, 7 by sub, 5 first-round finishes, and he was on a 6-fight streak before the first loss of his career. His opponent, Mario Bautista, 32 years old, number 9 ranked bantamweight. He's 16-0, 3 wins by KO, 6 by sub. He's on an 8-fight win streak. Last time out, he beat Patchy Mix by unanimous decision. So if memory serves, the line on this fight was also pretty wide. Yes, in fact, it was. Mario Bautista starting at 5.5 for your money here, PG. What is going on with this line, sir?
What? No way. Not that big. Not that big. I would have made it actually more close to a pick'em than to be that.
Tell us why, bro.
Okay, I'll give you the X's and O's here. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Mario Batista. I really do think so. I think maybe because his character isn't the most fun to get behind, but he's just because he's such a simpleton. Simpleton. He's a normal dude. You know what I mean? There's nothing out there about him that you can go. You know, he's not a Colby Covington, right? He's not a Ian Machado Gary on the mic. He's not even Cody Sandhagen, as people think he's boring, but they learn to love his boringness, and now he's become a more popular, polarizing kind of figure. And I think with Mario Batista, I think people are so caught up in his personality that they're forgetting about the man's 8-fight win streak. Forget about he's leveled up, bruh. This man has leveled up. I thought he was boring when I first watched him, but I've also watched him consistently, and I've seen the progression of his fight game. He's pretty strong bantamweight. He's one of the bigger of the bantamweight guys. He's not that small. He's got a very, very intense gas tank. He can also grapple, and the man is tough as nails. His boxing is very competent. The man puts out those jabs. He puts out those combinations. Now I know he got tired in the last round against Patchy Mix. You could see he got a little bit tired there, but that was a grueling fight. He was putting his foot on the gas for three dominant rounds. You know what I mean? In the 5-round fight's a little bit different. You can kind of give up a first round or you can give up a third round, but you can kind of manage your gas tank a little bit better in the 5-round fight, knowing that you've got 5 rounds to do the job. In a 3-round fight, it's almost like you don't have any time to waste. You have to almost, either end the fight first round or at least bag 2 of those 3 rounds, which means you're going to have to fight hard from the get-go. In a 5-round fight, you can kind of take your time. I mean, if you look at all the elite fighters, the world champions, they don't go hard from the first round. They usually pick up the pace round 2, round 3, right? And Mario showed me that. Umar Nurmagomedov, the reason why I'm a little bit wary of the guy is I think Marab broke him, to be honest with you. Before fighting against Marab, Umar Nurmagomedov was walking around as if he's made of gold and he can fucking walk on water. You know what I mean? He's the arrogance in his face. The way he was talking on the mic, he felt like he was untouchable, right? And then he got what's the name? Marab, and Marab cracked him. His face looked like a guy that was defeated by life itself. You know what I mean? And Mario Batista is the kind of fighter that will make it a grueling fight like that. I have a feeling he's going to take the fight to Umar Nurmagomedov just because of a lot of things. For example, how the American fan base looks at the Russian-based fighters, right? They love to hate them. If you think about it, they put Khabib Nurmagomedov as the best to ever do it. But in the same conversation, they also despise wrestling that comes out of that camp because they're like, they're not untouchable. We can beat them. We can fuck them up. But then you guys keep losing to them. So I think Batista, that's representing the US flag, is going to carry that with him to go, I will prove to you guys that this style, this Dagestani wrestling is beatable. You know what I mean? Because Mario Batista is a very well-rounded fighter. So I'm actually going to go with the underdog here. And it's not because I want to see Nurmagomedov lose, but it's because I think Batista has leveled up enough for it. I think he's prepared for it. He can go out there. It's not a 5-round fight, right? This is a 3-round fight. So I think Mario's gonna use this opportunity to really assert his dominance and put his name in the hat, because the bantamweight division is quite wide open if you think about it right now. You know what I mean? Because Marab has pretty much lapped the division almost. So Batista is one of those guys that Marab hasn't fought. So there's a lot for him riding on it to actually crack that top 5, especially because Umar Nurmagomedov has fought for the title already. So I think a win over someone like that will get Mario. You'll bypass the Ayman Zahabis. You'll bypass the Chito Vedas. You'll get Song Do Yodong. You might even get Figueiredo next. But winning this fight pushes him so far high up at the category, top of the 8-fight win streak. You could even make an argument for a title fight after Peter Yan versus Marab. You know what I'm saying? He can do that. This is what he can see in the horizon. If I'm Mario Batista and I'm seeing all these possibilities, bro, I'm thinking about this fight against Umar as like, I need to go in there and break this man's arm. I need to make a statement fucking win. You know what I'm saying? And also, I'm going to say it now, Umar Nurmagomedov is a very well-rounded fighter as well. World-class grappling, fantastic striking, right? But we see a lot of tape of him now, of what he gives you. And Marab put it on him. Marab showcased that you can crack this, bruh. You can make him go backwards. He's not gonna look the same. So I think Batista's gonna get the job over 3 rounds here. Decision.
Sheesh. Big call there, BG. I mean, Bautista is actually the biggest underdog on the card, so that is an absolutely massive call. So possibly some value to be had on the card here for the betting men and women. But yeah, it's interesting that the wide is so the line is
It's so
so
wide.
wide. Eh? It's crazy. Do you have any final thoughts on this one before we move, bro?
Yeah, I will say this. I'm making this decision right based on the things I was talking about now. However, I will add this. All of things I just said now will be thrown out the window if Umar Nurmagomedov takes Mario Batista down within the first minute of the fight. If he gets the takedown, then I'll be like, all right, and then I can understand why the line is so wide. Changes everything.
Mm.
So it all depends on that. Is Umar Nurmagomedov going to be able to take him down? Because Mario, have we seen him being taken down? I can't remember seeing him being taken down.
No, I don't remember either.
You know what I mean? He's a tough dude. He's a tough mother dude. So let's go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see who kind of asserts himself more here because Bautista is the type of dude who's always going forward, bro, and that's part of the
Yes.
reason why you never see him getting taken down.
Yes.
And Umar, after his last fight with Merab, I feel like he's not gonna wanna let someone get on top of him like that again. You know what I mean? Let somebody else push the pace. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out. But definitely a super wide line here, bro.
Even Cody, even when Cody Sandhagen fought Umar, that fight was also a fight that kind of showed some holes to Umar Nurmagomedov in that fight because he wasn't able to like successfully keep Cody down. He wasn't successfully able, he mixed up the fight really well, and largely because of Cody fighting the fight a little bit hesitant, right? He wasn't fighting the way he normally fights. Cody was able to make it such a competitive fight that he was able to back Umar up a few times in that fight, right? And which forced the panic or the reactionary takedowns. So my point is, if anyone watches this episode or that's doing a preview or doing some kind of research on this fight card, or watch Nurmagomedov's last two fights, Cody and Marab, he didn't look the same on his way to the title. Before getting the two of them, when he was wiping everybody out and he looks like the best guy since sliced bread. When he got high level fighters, he was walking backwards. He had to fight backwards. It changed. There was holes that was being exposed to him. So yeah, I'm not surprised that he lost to Marab in that fashion because I've seen it against Cody, and that's why I'm saying I think Mario Batista can also exploit those holes.
Mm-hmm. Let us know your thoughts in the comments there, ladies and gentlemen. Super wide line. Let us know your thoughts on that. Is there any chance that you can see for Bautista here? But to the heavyweight division we go, or back to the heavyweight division we go for. I mean, this could possibly be the number one contender fight right here for the winner of the main event. We have Alexander Volkov, who was 36 years old, number 2 ranked. Veteran record of 38-11-0, 24 wins by KO, 4 by sub, 17 first round finishes. He was on a 4-fight streak before losing to Ciryl Gane in that contentious decision. Jayton Almeida is a year younger at 35 years old, number 5 ranked heavyweight. Sterling record of 22-3-0, 8 wins by KO, 13 by sub, 16 first round finishes on a 2-fight win streak. Last time out beating Sergey Spivak by first round TKO. And he's only lost to Curtis Blades by KO in the UFC. So, I mean, is it fair to say that this could be the winner of this could be the next title contender? Is that a fair possibility here? Because there's not a lot going on in the heavyweight division. So, yeah, let us know your thoughts. A classic grappler versus striker type situation here, BG. How's it going to play out, bro?
Yeah, no, I think to answer your first question, I agree with you. I think the winner here makes a very, very strong argument to fight for the title next. So much so that it's actually undeniable, especially if it's going to end in very good fashion or if it's a wild fight, right? But also just looking at where both these fighters are in the rankings and where the career is actually moving. Yeah, this is number one contender written all over it. It can't go any other way, in my opinion. Now, who's going to win? I like the point you brought up in terms of striker versus grappler match. Volkov has leveled up his game massively. He hasn't really faced, he's been realistic. Who else wrestles like Jelton and Almeida in this division? besides
No one.
Curtis.
Not even
And
Curtis wrestles like Jailton, bro.
not even Curtis. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm put up Curtis because Curtis is like a predominant wrestler. That's the point. But I mean, there's no one else really, right? So, and also, if we're being frank, Ciryl Gane took Volkov down, and he can't wrestle for shit. I can take Volkov down, Ciryl Gane down, and I'm like three-quarters. I'm a quarter his size. So, point is, Jailton Almeida. I think if he gets Volkov down, I think it's night. To be honest with you, because he's got extremely good jiu-jitsu. He's devastating. Volkov has been at the top. You know what I mean? Or he's fought for the title before. Jailton Almeida hasn't, and I think he probably feels like if I beat Volkov here, I have to get Tom Aspinall next, right? The only risk that I have or that I find for Jailton Almeida in this fight is well, two. If it stays standing, he's fucked. He's fucked every day of the week, right? And the second thing I worry about it is when he takes, because he's gonna take Volkov down, is he gonna be able to be composed enough to reserve energy, right? Because if he goes and takes him down and he doesn't get the finish there, or he isn't able to pass guard, or he can't actually put Volkov in devastating situations, and Volkov gets back to his feet, I think Jailton Almeida is screwed, guys. I really do think so. Point is, I only see one avenue for victory from Jailton Almeida in this fight, and that's taking Volkov down, submitting him, ground and pounding on him, right? Because in terms of overall fight style, Volkov can wrestle a little bit. He does have takedown defense. In terms of striking, he's much taller. He's much more well versed in kickboxing. He's got a better reach. That he uses reach extremely well. He's got a lot of creativity in terms of what strikes he throws out there. You know what I mean? He can elbow, he can knee, he can. There's all sorts of shit there, and I think that's where Jailton Almeida gets into trouble. So there's a lot more avenues, or pathways to victory for Alexander Volkov in this fight, as opposed to Jailton Almeida. So I'm gonna go Alexander Volkov. I'm gonna go with him because I feel like there's more for him to win the fight. But what drives that point for me is only if he can get back up from that takedown. Because he's gonna get taken down. I have no doubt that he's gonna get taken down in this fight. I'll be very surprised if Almeida can't take him down. I'll be so surprised. Because that'll be like hell freezing over. That shit just doesn't happen. So yeah, if it gets to the ground and Volkov and Almeida passes guard and stuff, it's curtains. It's curtains for Volkov there. No, the fight can go either way, right? It can go either way, but I just think there's a lot more ways for Volkov to win the fight. He just has to be able to mainly just stay away from being taken down. Stay away from the cage, especially because a lot of Almeida's takedowns come from the cage as well. So if he can assert dominance in terms of you fighting under my geography, so I'm gonna back you up. You're gonna be behind the black line, not me. If Volkov can assert that kind of dominance before looking for knockouts will come because you got him backed up. And wrestlers can't wrestle when they're going backwards. So I think, Alexander Volkov has more ways to win. I know I'm beating the horse here, but yeah, Volkov for the win for me.
Alexander Volkov is starting as the betting underdog here as 2.85 for your money. Jailton Almeida at 1.44. So wow, a lot of value to be had on this card once again, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I'm not going to say too much more than that. I feel like just that point that you made about Ciryl Gane taking Volkov down might be something that the bookies are looking at here and saying, yeah, if it goes to the ground, it's over, just like you said. But anyway, that horse is solidly dead now, and we're gonna move on to the light heavyweight division, where we see the return of Alexander Rakic coming up against Asmad Mirzakhanov. Rakic is 33 years old, number 7 ranked, 14-5-0. He's got 9 by KO, 1 by sub, 8 first round finishes. He is, however, on a 3-fight slide, losing to Muhammad Ankalaev by unanimous decision in his last fight. Asmad Mirzakhanov is 36 years old, number 10 ranked. He's undefeated at 15-0. 11 wins by KO, 1 by sub, 9 first round finishes. 4-fight streak last time out, beating Brenson Ribeiro by first round TKO. BG. Who and why here, bro?
Fun fight again. I would say top 10 contention in terms of the light heavyweight division. A win for Azamat. Definitely will put him into the hat again, along with Bogdan Guskov as like. Wasn't that supposed to be this fight? Bogdaddy, wasn't that supposed to be this fight? I'm sure.
I
Or
don't know.
no, Bogdan's fighting Jan Blachowicz. So that just tells you Bogdan and Azamat is the two guys that's gonna be the new faces that's gonna be added to that top 5, considering where Blachowicz is moving on his way out. Rakic is also technically on his way out. I know he's only 33 years old, but I mean, let's be honest. The dude, whenever he goes up against the guys that are on the top of the food chain, you just can't seem to get a win over them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You just can't
Yeah.
get it right. And excuse me, stylistically in this fight, I think it's a bit of a problem for Rakic again. Rakic gets into the pocket, but then sometimes he doesn't throw when he's there, and then that's when I see him. If you look at the fights when he lost to the top tier guys, he gets aggressive with him. He gets into the pocket, but when they match him with the boxing and they tag him as well, then it's like, oh well, then I can't do anything else, right? And I think that's where I think he needs to do a little bit more, especially in a fight like this where Azamat isn't a grappler. He's a fucking kickboxer. This guy does spinning kicks and shit like that. So, and he's got very smooth counters, even when he's going backwards. That's how he knocked out Roberto. Step back, left hook, bang, drops him. Ground and pound finishes the fight. Right? He's primarily a striking kind of guy. So I think for Rakic, if he wants to still be as one of those guys that's considered as the top 10, top 7 of the light heavyweight division and still make a title run at 33 years old, then I would say go into this fight, take this guy down, and tap him out. Ground and pound him, because if he's going to keep the fight standing, I think there's a high risk that he gets tagged. I really do think so. Azamat is that kind of fighter. He's elusive, he's fun, he's sharp, and I think he's got better counter strikings than Rakic. I think Rakic, watching his fights, he's heavy-handed, right? Doesn't put out a lot of combinations. It's a very heavy-handed kind of guy. Walks you down. You know, a lot of fights, and when we're in the pocket, it's like, are we going to swing? And he wants to stay there. And I think that's where he puts himself in positions where he can lose the fight. And someone like Azamat, who I think is the much sharper counter striker, I think he's going to catch Rakic. I think he really thinks so. Because Rakic is obviously going to coming off two fight losing, 3 fight losing.
3. Yeah.
So he's going to have to obviously get a win here. He's desperate for it. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be on the front foot. He wants to control the fight. He wants to lead the dance. But that's also, you have to be dangerous against fighters that are very comfortable on the back foot, like Azamat. Like he don't panic about giving up space, because he's like, I'm sharp here, bro. I'm very sharp here. So I think Rakic's pressure is gonna be his demise in this fight. So I'm gonna go Azamat for the win.
Let's go, BG. This one is as close to a pick'em as we have on the main card. As you can see, Rakic is 1.95. Murzakanov at 1.87. Any thoughts on the line, BG?
Oh, is that who's the favorite? Another.
It's basically a pick'em, bro.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think I would have also placed Azamat as the favorite, to be honest with you. But also not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Not overwhelming. Yeah. So I think that's a very accurate line, that is.
Fair play, and that will round out the main card for us and open the main card for us on Saturday. But before that, we do have some prelims, BG.
Yes, sir. Let's talk
go.
about that. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I'm going to talk about some of the prelims fights that I think is going to be nice ones to watch. Some of the worldies, if you will, some very good fun fights to watch. Now, I was going to talk about Nasrat Hakbaras versus Quillian Salkild. I don't know how to say this man's name. But I watched the fight before, and he's not good either. This is a bit of a layup. So expect Nasrat to go in there and put on a good boxing clinic in this fight and win this fight on decision, maybe even get his first or second round KO. So that should be a fun one. Ikram Aliskerov taking on Zhu Yong Park. Zhu Yong Park, if you don't know, he's widely considered as like the Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles. He always comes out also with that outfit. The fighting turtle, and there should be a good stand-up warrior. I think Ikram's gonna win the fight. He's the more polished striker as well. I like Zhu Yong Park, but I like him as a human being. I don't know if I like him as a fighter. So I think Ikram Aliskerov is gonna get back into the win column here with a good finish. Ludovic Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. That's gonna be a bit of a barn burner for sure. I think it's gonna be all out warfare between the two guys, because Rebecki is a go-getter. Ludovic Klein's also a go-getter. I mean, he just fought against Mateusz Gamrot before this, so he knows that he's like that one step closer to cracking the rankings. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Ludovic Klein. I think he's the more well-rounded fighter, strong grappler, strong striking as well. And he's just outside of that top 15. So I think you'll win here and mark himself a potential ranking or a ranked fight in a ranked match next. But I think he's gonna win that fight. And then I'm gonna breeze over the Abdul Karim Al Salwadi, Palestine for him. But I'll breeze over that one because I have no idea of who they are. I've never seen two of them fight before, so I'll skip that one. But I mean, we got Walter Walker, bro. I mean, come on, Walter Walker. This guy is lighting up the heavyweight division of late. Got the rankings very quickly. So I'm very excited to watch him fight. I'm not too familiar with Louis Sutherland, but it looks like this is going to be a fight where Walter Walker, you know, extends that win streak and makes a call for maybe a Mario Pinto next, or a Walter, what's his name, Waldo Costa, someone like that could be his next opponent. But yeah, Walter Walker is, I don't want to say quietly, because he's actually making a lot of noise, but he's humbly climbing up that rankings in a very good pace at the moment. So he's one to watch for that heavyweight division. But the big banger for me on this prelims is Nathaniel Wood taking on Jose Miguel Delgado. If you want to look for a fight that's going to be high level and just going to be one for the fans, this is going to be that fight, guys. Nathaniel Wood looked amazing since moving up to featherweight division. No more heavyweight cuts for him. And then Jose Miguel Delgado, dude, fabulous boxer, looks fantastic. Good debut in the UFC. Excuse me. I'm a big fan of his style, and I think he's going to go in there and he's going to put the pace on Nathaniel Wood and make Nathaniel Wood fight. And that's when you get the best of Nathaniel Wood. And that's why I think it's going to be car crash every single round. So let's go. And then obviously we see Khamiri Abdallah B fought. What fight card did he fight? I think he lost that fight. But he's taking on Chris Barnett. That's all I can say. It's Chris Barnett.
Big boy!
You know what I mean? So let's go. Chris Barnett. And then also lastly, this flyweight matchup between Azat Maksum taking on Mitch Raposo. I think I've watched Mitch Raposo fight before. Not a bad boxer, good wrestler as well. I think he beats himself up more in his mind before the fighter actually beats him. But he's super talented. He just needs to believe that he's the world's best, and he will climb that ranking. So yeah, let's go. Fun fight card. Can't wait.
Thank you, brother Gaia, and that is our time just about. So we're going to wrap it up now with some final thoughts and a pre-fight rating for the card, please, sir.
Some final thoughts. Quite stoked. I looked at this fight card earlier in the day when I was doing the notes, and I was thinking, whoa, this fight card is actually very, very good. Amazing fights, 2 title fights. Perfect starting time for us in South Africa. Prelim start at 4 p.m. So I can't complain. So I'm going to give it a solid rating of a 7.5 because there's a lot of benefits to us in South Africa for it and good fight to watch. So yeah, looking forward to it. I won't be surprised if it goes up higher than that also coming into the weekend.
I definitely hope so, but I'm going to go with a solid 7. I think it's a fair card. Trying not to factor in the times to affect my opinion, but yeah, solid 7 here. Hoping that it goes up as well. But let us know your pre-fight ratings in the comment section, please, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, if you have made this far, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Got new content, so you can watch the podcast every day.
Let's go.
No, Rogan.
Let's go. So yeah, like Eddie said, like, share, and subscribe, people. Algorithm. But what you can expect from Fighting with Friends this week, we still have the One Friday Fights 1:30 preview to come out for you guys. So keep a lookout for that. It will be on Thursday morning, South African time. And then we also have a live watch along, which I'm sure you're all looking forward to. All you FWFs out there, I see you guys love coming into our lives on Fridays. Looking forward to that for the One Friday Fights live. Then also, like I said, 4 p.m. South Africa time on Saturday, 25th of October. Stay tuned. We're going to be live for watch along for the UFC 321. So I hope to see all of you there. And then also, lastly, for myself and all the Fighting with Friends team, please have yourself a fantastic day, night, morning, wherever you're watching from. Love for the love, people, and you will catch us in the next one. Cheers.
But Maldonado, how you say his name?
Fabio Maldonado.
Fabio Maldonado.
I have a son to raise, I have tax to pay, and I have a live to live.